Hi guys.
Hi.
It's Mrs. Collier and Audrey. How are you? I miss you all so very much. So since this is new to both myself and probably to you, we're gonna kind of take it slow, and I might mess up with the camera. And I got this new cool tripod. My phone is kind of above the book, so we will just do our first lesson and see how it goes. So every day I am going to teach a lesson just like this, okay? And you'll have your book. And if you don't have your book, all of the book workbook pages are either on VMath Live, which you know how to get to VMath Live, and there is a tab right underneath Gizmos or next to Gizmos where it says eBooks. You have all your modules available to you on VMath Live through eBooks. But in case you can't get there or you can't find it, I have uploaded all of the pages that we are going to do for every lesson on the Google Classroom. So it's really easy for you guys to find, okay? So, and I will also send you a video on how to access Google Classroom if you don't know how or you haven't done it for your other classes. But I think you have. But in case you haven't, I'll show you how to do that. Also, if any of you ever want to Zoom conference call with me, if you're having some trouble and you're not sure if you're doing something correctly and you just want to check in with me, I can always Zoom conference with you guys. You just email me at any time. Okay, I check my email all the time. Okay, so I'm gonna write it down here in case you guys don't know. You can Google. US. So it's E Collier at RCS K12.US, I think it's that right here. Okay, that's my Google address. Audrey, will you go get me my computer, please? Thank you. All right. So in case you ever need me, I'm right there. All right. All right, so we're going to get going on lesson PL1 for Module 5. Just before we left, we were going to start Module 5. We were actually going to take Module 4's assessment. But you guys got out of that one. Haha. But I put the assessment on the Google Classroom for you to try it. Now, it won't be graded, lucky dogs, but you can still try it because I know you guys worked really, really hard to prepare for that. So I still want you to try to do that if you can, okay? All right, so we're just going to get going. So what we're going to do for Module 5 is we're going to dive into proportionality. And I know that's a really big word, so we're going to take it slow. My first thing I want to do is I want to go over some of the academic vocabulary with you, okay? So the two things that we are going to really concentrate in this lesson are ratios and equivalent ratios. It's a comparison of two quantities by division, and equivalent ratios are ratios that can be written as equal fractions. You guys, we have already done this when you were learning all about greatest common factor and reducing and simplifying fractions. This is just an extension of that. So everything that you have already learned, you can use in this lesson, all right? Okay, so let's look at number 1. There are 3 apples and there's one banana, okay? 4 pieces of fruit altogether. How many apples are there? Obviously, there are 3 apples. Audrey, how many bananas are there?
1.
1. And total pieces of fruit are
4.
4. Okay, perfect. So how I would, see? Ruh-roh. My tripod is
Dying.
It's kind of dying. All right, so we're gonna write this comparison of two quantities as a ratio, okay? So the ratio of apples to all the fruit is 3. And it's 3 to 4 because there are 3 apples to all the fruit, okay? So I would write that as a fraction, 3/4. How I would write my ratio of bananas to all the fruit would be, Audrey?
1 banana
to
3 apples.
Oh, okay. It's to 3 apples. Sorry, not to all the fruit. Okay. For number 3, if I read this question, sorry, I keep on moving this because the phone keeps on moving. All right. The basketball team has 5 players. 2 players are forwards, 2 players are guards, and 1 player is the center. So how many forwards do I have in this problem? Okay, well, there are 2 forwards, all right? But I have to find out how many players in all I have, okay? So if I added up all my players, which it says right here in the problem, I have 5 players, I would write my fraction or my ratio 2/5. Now, how many guards do I have? I have 2 guards. Okay? They want to know how many guards to centers I have. Well, how many centers do I have? Well, looks like here I only have 1 center. So my ratio is 2 to 1 for guards to centers. How many players do I have altogether? Well, it already told me that I had 5 players altogether. And how many centers do I have? I only have 1. Now, for numbers 4 and 5, they are just asking us how to write the ratios in 3 different ways. Well, we already wrote it in this way. All right, so a ratio can be written 3 different ways. In problems 2 and 3, the ratios are written only as a fraction. A second way to write a ratio is to write it the way it reads using words. For instance, 2 to 5. This would be 2 to 1. This would be 5 to 1. All right. We could also write our ratio as a colon, okay? So, semicolon. So, 2 to 5. So this really means the same thing, okay? 2 to 1. 5 to 1. All right? Audrey's holding the tripod for me because it's falling down. All right? I think it might fall. All right. So let's do number 6. Let's look at number 6. Notice the 3 different ways to write this ratio. With each, we're going to read the same. We're going to write the ratio of forwards to all players on the team 3 different ways, okay? Which we really did here, but we're going to write them this way, okay? So, forwards to all the players, 2 to 5, or 2 to 5, and 2 to 5. All right? All of these are written as, 2 to 5. Okay? 2 to 5. And I'm going to write that out in words. Okay. If you have your book, I want you to write this. Okay. All right. So if we look at number 7, two ratios are equivalent if the ratios can be written as equivalent fractions. So when the numerator and the denominator of a ratio are multiplied or divided by the same number as they are here, the result is an equivalent ratio. And we have done this before. All right, so if I multiplied 2 times 3, I would get 6. And if I multiplied 5 times 3, I would get 15. All right, so this tells me now that 6/15 is equivalent to 2/5. Same thing goes for problem 8. When I divide, just like you do when you simplify fractions, you change, okay? You don't really change the, I don't want to say the quantity, but you change it by a quantity of 1. I don't know if you guys remember that, okay? What's the opposite of multiplication? It's division. So if I had to find an equivalent fraction for 25/35, okay, what number can go into both 25 and 35? All right, what would that number be? Well, that number would be 5. 5 can go into 25 5 times, and 5 can go into 35 7 times. All right. So because the numerator is divided by 5, that denominator better be divided by 5. What you do to the top, you do to the bottom. Remember, this is a quantity of 1. Okay. So now I have an equivalent ratio, 5/7 to 25/35. All right, we are not going to do the build the concept. We're going to skip that. Uh-oh. So we're going to skip. You're going to turn the page, or you're going to go to the Google Classroom, and you're going to try it together. All right, I'm going to do numbers 9, 10, 11, and 12 together with you. And then I'm going to have you do the skill building, new and review, and the checkup, which I already uploaded those onto Google Classroom. Okay. I also screenshot the work on your own if you don't have your book, so you know you can always refer back to that. Okay. All right. So let's write each ratio 2 other ways. Okay. Audrey's going to read it for you. Problem 9. Okay.
What is one way to write a ratio in fraction form? Write 6/3 in fraction form.
Okay, so I'm going to do that. 6/3.
Make sure the 6 is written as the numerator and the 3 is the denominator. How is the ratio
6/3
written in fraction form?
6/3. All right, another way to write this ratio is using the word instead of the colon. Okay, so that is a colon, Audrey. Not a semicolon. How is the ratio 6/3 written using the word 2? 6/3. All right, pretty simple, huh? Not too bad. 21/25 is written 21/25, or 21:25. All right. This one says we're going to complete each number sentence to make an equivalent ratio. So if I'm dividing here, it kind of gives you a hint because what the answer is 4. So really 4 times what is 36? Or what divided by 36 is 4? Well, if you know your multiplication, or if you have your chart in front of you or your calculator, you know that 9 should go here. What I do to the top, I do to the bottom. This is now a quantity of 1. 27 divided by 9 is 3. Okay, so my new ratio is 4:3. Equivalent. 2/7. 2/7 times what can get me an equivalent ratio? Well, it kind of gave you a hint here. 7 times what is 28? 4. What I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. This is a quantity of 1. 2 times 4 is 8. Okay. All right, well, that is PL1. I know you guys are going to fly through this really, really quickly. You're going to do the skill building new and review. If you do not have your workbook, you're just going to copy what's on Google Classroom onto a piece of paper. Make sure you label your paper, Module 5, Lesson PL1. All right? Okay. I'm going to figure out a way for you guys either on Google Forms or maybe you can just take a picture of your work and email it to me at my email address at work, or I actually might even give you guys my cell phone number eventually if we are gone for longer than 2 weeks, because I think it's really important for me to see what you guys are doing and if you are understanding it. Also, you're going to try some problem solving, new and review. Just give it a go. Doesn't count against you. And then I want you to do the checkup. All right? Okay, I will talk to you guys tomorrow.